Good afternoon. Yesterday we glued these three planks together so that it forms a block. We still it dried like overnight, at least 20 hours I think, and it's ready to be planed now perpendicular. This this they should be parallel exactly with this one 90 degrees. This side, and this side have to be 90 degrees so that when you put it in a drill press and when we will drill the holes for the bearings and the shaft, that it will be 90 degrees inside. It should be more or less square, which we are going to plane now by hand. If you have any possibility of using a professional machine, it would be of course easier. If you are not experienced, please let it do by somebody who knows how to handle such a machine, as you only have 10 fingers and nobody will put your finger back when you lose it. And I advise you, when you plane such a piece of wood, leave it much longer. This short piece, it is very dangerous to plane this on a machine. Don't do it. Leave it much longer, like at least almost a feet, I would say, a feet long. Like that, you risk less, and use some kind of pushing wood with some V which you saw out, so that you can push it and hold it. Don't risk your hands in the near of the blade, which is turning with such machines. But I think such a ridiculous little piece of wood, which is not very extremely hard wood, just a tropical wood. I think it's tropical wood. It's quite soft. It's also possible to do this by hand. And what we are going to do now is to plane both sides here, as they are still not square and far from ready. Then, when it's done, it will be glued and screwed from the bottom with 4 screws. After we drill those holes for the shaft and put the bearings at both sides, there will be bearings, and the shaft will come. This is the shaft. And these are the bearings. These bearings are from skeelers. I removed them from the wheels of skates. And skates have never really been super skates, but the bearings are in excellent condition. If you want to clean them, make them dust free, and with a brush, cheap China brush, and then put them in a glass jar with a lid with enough white spirit, or thinner. You might use as well. Thinner is very degreasing to remove all grease and dirt, and then you just shake it and rinse it like that. And then remove the bearings again and oil them with the exact kind of oil or spray you think which is suitable for these bearings. You should use the correct kind. Don't use just any oil. It's what they say. I think I should believe. And then you can put them in the bearing house, and the shaft can be placed. Now we have to still find a way how to connect our shaft to our little generator, which is in this case the hand crank flashlight. It has a alternating current generator in there, but with a circuit board with a diode bridge which changes the alternating current into direct current, and like that makes it possible to charge a battery, because you can only charge a battery with direct current and not with alternating current. Alternating current is only good for example, light bulb. A light bulb can function with alternating current. Anything else, charging batteries or even a LED light, won't really work with alternating current. Well, actually, a LED light can function with alternating current, but it will all the time flash. It will not constantly light. That's all. So let's get started. In this case, I'm using again my faithful Stanley plane with a sharp blade. And then use some protection wood so that the jaws of the workbench won't damage your object. It's time to get a square. We roughly almost removed and came to the level that it's time to start to check. We hold it against the light to the window, and then we start looking, and then if it's more or less square, and it starts to look, well, we're very close to it, very close to square. When you plane a lot, you develop a kind of feeling for what is square and what is not. Then we start to adjust the plane that it will plane more smoothly, less coarse. We hold it again against the light. It looks fine. Very well. And again we check with the light. We need to plane at this side, the line. You almost can't see anymore the glue that it glued. Only here you can see here still some of the glue. That's because we didn't plane enough. But that's aesthetical. Okay, now we need to plane here. Okay, this side is more or less okay, as you can see yourself. It looks like 19 degrees. I checked it with a square. Now we need to do the other side as well. And as you can see, slightly too much that way. It's too much like this. You can see it. It's too much like this. We start with coarse, so we adjust our plane again a little bit coarser. Now start to plane a little bit smoother, and we should already check with our square again, see what we are doing. We're almost done. We again adjust a little bit smoother. We check it again. And it is okay. It is square now. both sides, all sides, it's square. Now, the only thing which is left for us now is that we have to cut off the extremes, as you see also the glue, and we left it a little bit longer, as I told you yesterday, like 2 centimeters longer. So we will cut off 1 centimeter at each end. Now it's 10. It's 10 centimeters long, a piece of wood. As our base is also 10, but we wanted to leave like 1 centimeter at both ends for the plywood box, which slides over the assembly of the shaft and the generator and our bearing block, because we wanted to protect it from the weather. So what we're going to do now is to cut off 1 centimeter of each end, so that it creates 1 centimeter of space at each end, so that a house can go over it, slide over it. So we get I can't find a pencil. I use a pen, but that's not good. Use sharp pencil. I need to buy a new one. And we start with marking with a square, like 1 centimeter. We do this all the way around. And now it's done. Now with a fine, sharp saw, with fine teeth, we will cut off the excess. Actually, I should saw on both sides. There's too much material here. At the end, to avoid splintering, we will turn it upside down. The last part we will do like this. This will avoid that it will splinter at the bottom. This is now the top. Our glued piece, you can burn it in the wood stove. Now we take some sandpaper, grit 120 in this case. We smoothly, carefully, a little bit the edges. We sand the edges a little bit so that it won't splinter accidentally. That is done. We've got a perfect 90 degrees cut. Now, as we have this piece already cut, we can mark the other one. We take our tape measure, we put it firmly against and mark 8 centimeters. And so that means that our box, which will slide over our generator and shaft assembly, has to have the interior 8 centimeters wide. And the outside should be roughly 1 centimeter thick, the sides. So we mark that one, we will saw it as well. Now we turn it upside down to avoid the splintering. At the end, might splinter. That's why we turn it upside down and start at the other side. And again we pass some sandpaper. And it should be 8 centimeters now. It should be. And it is, as you can see, 8 centimeters. So now we have our bearing block ready, which will be glued and screwed with 4 screws from the bottom onto the base, and there is a space of 1 centimeter at both sides, so that when we slide a box over the assembly, it can rest on this edge. That's why we will leave an edge of 1 centimeter at both ends, because the sides, the plywood which we use, will be also 1 centimeter thick, 10 millimeters. And it will rest. We will slide over the box, over the whole assembly, so that it keeps dry and protected from the weather. So we finished now our bearing block roughly, and the next step is to trace a center in the center, exactly here in the center. Both ends we have to trace a line, and it should correspond, be aligned with the height of our generator. The shaft should correspond with the height of our dynamo. It should be exactly at the same height. Now I thought this handle is exactly in the center of the circle. We are lucky, because some models they don't have the handle in the center, but a little bit off center, and this one is exactly in the center. So this could give us a very flexible coupling connection, a flexible connection, which means that if it isn't perfectly aligned, it still it will handle with it, because it's flexible, because this turns, is pivotating. I don't know how you call it in English. This one, for example, has its handle not in the center, as you can see. So this is no good, and you should make some kind of connection to disassemble this and find a way how to connect. You could make some kind of piece of wood and screw it with 2 screws from the inside, or bolt it rather, preferably, with 2 screws from the inside, and that piece should have a bolt into it, and then with a flexible plastic hose it could also function. But it is always advised that there is some flexible coupling between the generator and the shaft. Also in real engines they have this. Of course this is not a real engine, this is just a windmill. And in the future we will make bigger generators which produce more interesting energy, but this is just the experimental stage. So the next step is to estimate the height of the center of this circle. This is a circle, as you can see. It should be estimated the height, and we have to have the same height here, and then we will first pilot hole with a very tiny little drill bit. We will drill completely through, and then we can drill with a speed drill the house for the bearings. In this case it would be a drill of 22 millimeters, because our bearing is 22 millimeters of diameter. And that's all there is to it. So in the next step we will drill the hole, estimate the height of the hole, and do it with the drill press. Thanks for watching.